Every investor remembers one thing, their first investment, whether it was a mutual fund, a stock, or a simple SIP. That first step wasn't just about putting money into the market, it was about believing in the future. And today, taking that first step has never been easier. With just a smartphone, anyone can open a demat account, start an SIP, or buy their first stock in a matter of minutes. But while investing has become more accessible, building wealth still requires the same timeless principles, patience, discipline, and informed decision making. So, where should a first time investor begin? Is an SIP the safest starting point? Should you invest in stocks or mutual funds? How much risk is too much? And what are the common mistakes that can derail your financial journey before it begins? This is what we discuss on the Money Show. We also help you with your financial portfolio planning, investments, and strategies. All you have to do is just reach out and send across your questions on the QR code. Just scan the QR code. You'll be connected to a WhatsApp number. You can send across your questions over there, and we can help you align all your financial investments or portfolio investments with all your financial goals. But today, something about keeping your money safe. That's right. Microsoft has issued a serious warning about a new cyber attack that highlights just how vulnerable public Wi-Fi networks can be. Now, according to Microsoft's threat intelligence team, hackers are targeting hotels' Wi-Fi systems by compromising the login portals that guests use to access the internet. Now, instead of attacking your phone or laptop directly, the attackers first target the hotel's Wi-Fi infrastructure. When you connect to the network, you may be shown what appears to be a legitimate login page or a software update notification, but in reality, it's a fake page designed to trick you into entering your passwords or downloading malware. Now, this is what makes the attack particularly dangerous. It doesn't rely on breaking into your device. It relies on you trusting that you see on your screen. If someone falls for this scam and installs a malicious software, hackers can potentially steal usernames and passwords, capture browser cookies, record keystrokes, take screenshots, and access files stored on the device. Now, in some cases, if the malware is granted permission, it could even activate the microphone or even the webcam, allowing attackers to monitor audio or video activity. The warning is significant because it demonstrates how cyber attacks are evolving. Now, instead of targeting individual victims one by one, attackers are increasingly compromising shared digital infrastructure such as hotels' Wi-Fi systems to reach hundreds or even thousands of people through a single breach. Now, business travelers are particularly attractive targets because they often access corporate emails, cloud platforms, and confidential company data while traveling. But this isn't just a hotel Wi-Fi problem. Public Wi-Fi networks at airports, cafes, railway stations, shopping malls, or other public places can all become potential targets if they are poorly secured or compromised. The biggest risk is not the network itself, but the trust users place in it. The bigger question is this: we all want to stay connected, whether it's free Wi-Fi at a hotel, airport, cafe, or railway station. It's convenient, it's fast, and often it's free. But at what cost? Is saving a few megabytes of mobile data worth risking your password, banking details, personal files, or even your company's confidential information? So, how serious is this threat? How safe are public Wi-Fi networks really? And what are the simple steps every traveler should take before connecting to one? To understand this better, we are joined by Nitin Bhatnagar, cybersecurity expert, to help us understand this growing cybersecurity challenge. Nitin, hi, good evening, and welcome to the show. You travel a lot, and like you, I know a lot of people who travel a lot. And you know, immediately if they are traveling abroad, all they do is just rely on public Wi-Fi. If they are traveling, they are hanging out, or whatever they are doing. Now, this report is really alarming. You know, it's so dangerous that you might not consider it at all, in fact.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, you have actually summarized very well, Kavita. And I think the attackers, particularly in this scenario, are interested in the business travelers and the corporate accounts.
Yeah.
Now, The important part, the user here is to understand is how the attacks works, right? When you typically enter into a hotel, you connect to a hotel Wi-Fi, you are often redirected to a captive portal, and the captive portal is something, where you see a web page that appears on your mobile phone or on your laptop when you connect to a public Wi-Fi network in a hotel, and you're forced to sign in, accept some kind of rules, or sometimes some buying these packages of internet through money, using the pages. So that's called the captive portal, where you are trying to enter, in a case of a scenario of a hotel, you are trying to enter your room number, a hotel room number, your email, or maybe passwords, and accept the terms. Now, attackers here can compromise this entire process and use a fake or a manipulated login page to trick the user to install the malware or give away your financial information or even the sensitive information. So that's the typical modus of operandi of trying to steal the information, the which is your personally identified information, which is critical in terms of many ways. It could be financial information, it could be your personal information, login, which you use for logging into the to your accounts. Now, sometimes typically what happens as a user, or a travelers, we tend to use the passwords which are very common, that we remember very, or use very frequently, and these information, once get compromised, can be used by the people with the malicious intent at the back end, trying to steal this information to use against committing the frauds. It could be any type of fraud that you have right at, and in fact, the malware has the capability to even turn on your microphone and your webcam, which can even record your movements. Even they have the capabilities to log or have the keystrokes, whatever you are trying to type on your keyboard, which becomes or makes you more vulnerable to these attacks. This campaign typically, which I refer to the Microsoft cyber security warning. Microsoft threat intelligence had identified this campaign as a captive crunch, because you get a captive portal, so they named it as a captive crunch.
So one thing I want to understand from you, who are more vulnerable, Android users or iPhone users?
Anyone. It
Anyone. No
doesn't
one is safe.
distinguish.
iPhone is supposed to be so
it,
safe.
it doesn't distinguish. That's what I'm trying to say.
Really?
It is not targeting your devices. It's actually targeting on your devices when you're trying to log in through a portal. That's a captive portal that can open on an Android phone or an Android device, laptop, or a Windows laptop, or on an iOS device, or a MacBook. It's just trying to redirect you to a page which looks like to be a bank, or a hotel page, where you are entering all your details, which is confidential. And then after entering all those details on this captive portal, they are tricking you to install the malware into your system, and steal the sensitive information. So it doesn't have to do anything with your operating system that you're talking, Kavita.
So what should one do? Can we install some kind of a system or an app, that actually prevents this particular thing to open up on your phone? Can that be done? Because then how do you access public Wi-Fi? Or you just move around with the router?
No, I think, see, at the end of the day, you also highlighted one very interesting point. Just to save some money and use a public Wi-Fi, you try to avoid your cellular data, right? So I think more importantly, Kavita, here for the users is to understand that prioritize using your own mobile data, or probably if you're traveling international, have an eSIM, or a personal mobile hotspot over public Wi-Fi. It's like you can protect in this way. This is one critical way. Let's not be penny wise pound foolish here in this case. While what I would suggest, I have an international connection, which works. I get the data I can use, and I can connect using my mobile data, my email servers, or my financial services that I use for banking purposes. So that's one way. And never download any application via a captive portal when you are trying to log in. For example, you're sitting on an airport, and you select free XYZ, and you you get a pop-up saying that, oh, please fill your mobile number or give your mobile number so that we can send you an OTP. Now, in this process, if you realize that, after entering the personal information, you are being asked to download something on your system, avoid that. Absolutely do not install any software update at that point of time, or any security certificate, or any kind of an executable file that prompts you to log into a Wi-Fi connection. So that's the trigger. So you have to understand, understand the difference between the download versus the captive portals. Captive portals will ask you details, but it will automatically, after they authenticate you, they will have you log into the Wi-Fi system. But if they ask you to download something, that's an alarm. That's an alarm that you means that you are doing something which is not allowed.
All right, so one really needs to be aware, and the best case scenario is to just avoid connecting yourself with the public Wi-Fi anywhere you go, because they are much more vulnerable. A lot of people I know, this happens a lot when you're out in a restaurant. You don't get the right network to make a digital payment. So what you have to do is just they ask you to connect to the Wi-Fi and then accordingly make a payment. So the best thing is just pay them in cash and just avoid using your wife, even if it is genuine, even if there's no problem.
See, at the end of the day, you have to understand that, as I said, differentiate between how you're using a public Wi-Fi. We are not here to say that don't use public Wi-Fi. You can use public Wi-Fi, but the point is that how you should be cautious of using public Wi-Fi. Where are those red alarms that you need to be aware of? One of the example that I told you is that never download any application or any kind of an executable file while you are trying to log into a public Wi-Fi. That's an alarm, where you will have to be cautious. Why this is asking me to download something, right? Now, that's something that you can use public Wi-Fi, but you have to be very, very cautious while using. You can do payments. That's not at all a problem. But having, one other thing that I would tell, people usually keep their, devices on an auto connect mode. Please disable your auto connect mode. Try to use Wi-Fi while not automatically connecting to anything, right? It's like you're opening doors for everyone to come into your device. So, or probably in a matter of Bluetooth. Many people today, because your headphones are connected, your devices are connected, and you want to share, airdrop things, or because through the Bluetooth you want to share something, you keep your Bluetooth open, or pairing the phone, or probably while you're sitting in your car, you want to connect your phone in a car. Try to do it manually. Disable those auto connect features, because those auto connect features are again your red triggers, which can, without your consent, can have somebody else come and log into your come to your devices, right? While you maybe not be aware of who got connected to you while you are traveling. That could be one of the ways that you can avoid that. Now, deploying, paid VPNs. I know deploying paid VPNs can be a cost affair, but these are not advisable at this point. But for a corporate, or someone who is on a business trip, I believe the corporates does provide these kind of facilities where you can deploy a paid VPN, which actually is connecting to a reputable virtual private network before you are opening any kind of a browser windows or any application on a public Wi-Fi network. And that actually completely encrypts your web traffic. So
Right.
that helps you secure the entire ecosystem while you are connecting your systems or your devices to Wi-Fi in public.
All right, so these are the do's and don'ts of using a public Wi-Fi. But with that, we are timed out on this segment. Thank you so much, Nitin, for participating and always being of help for our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kalita.
On that note, it's time for a short break, but post that we'll be joined by Shweta Jain, who will be answering your portfolio queries live. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. It's time to answer all your portfolio queries. And Shweta Jain, our guest, has joined us live. We'll be answering your questions. Shweta, hi, good evening. Welcome to the show. Let's take Vijay Kumar Kanya's question. He's 48 years old, investing 9,000 per month across 5 mutual fund, and investment horizon is almost 10 years. And he wants to know how much corpus can he expect and any other changes that you might want to recommend. I think you already have the name of the funds. All right, so what's the advice?
So he is investing About the portfolio will be, I think, about 22 lakhs is what his expectation would be, depending on the returns. The portfolio is looking good, but he might want to increase the allocation to large cap though. So if that is his goal, that's something that he should do. But otherwise, the amounts, if you see small cap, he's investing a little more in one particular scheme. It could get one lopsided after some time. So he should make sure that he's reviewing the portfolio, not just in terms of schemes, but in terms of allocation as well.
All right. Let's take the other question. This is from Kunj Mohan Chaudhary, and he's investing 40,000 per month through SIPs. Wants to know if the funds are good or not, and he is not sure to on exiting the funds that are giving him negative returns. So, all right. Yeah. So two funds almost are giving him negative returns. I do not have the name of the funds though with me, but yeah. How can you actually plan an exit from a fund?
Okay, it's an interesting question. It would have been more interesting if we had the scheme names as well. But so usually we don't just exit schemes if there are negative returns. You have to make a comparison with whether it's the index, with whether it is with comparative schemes in the same category. Also, if there's been any management change, any fund management change, what kind of risks the fund is taking, what kind of portfolio turnover is there, why is the fund giving negative returns, is there some kind of explanation to that? If there is no explanation, and if things are not going, just that this scheme is not doing well, everything else in the category is doing well, then it may be a definite time to relook and exit. But otherwise we don't really exit every year, 2 years. When you're looking at mutual funds and equity especially, 5 years is something that you want to target, but 3 years is something that you want to stay invested, provided things are going okay.
Over a year, I am not sure since how long he's invested, but I think there has been a constant underperformance since last 2 to 3 years. So that is what he's saying, that after 2 to 3 years, he's realizing that 5 to 6 funds are underperforming, are in negative. So how much time should you ideally give then?
No, so the time he is actually considering is fine. 3 years is
Okay.
fine if that's something that he's seeing. But he has to also compare to the category where he's investing. Say, we don't know the category. So, say if it's a thematic fund and that particular theme itself has done negative in the last 3 years, thematic by nature, you need to get both entry and exit right, them higher in terms of risk. So, he may have to stay invested for a longer period if it's a theme issue. But if it's just the scheme issue, then he may have to exit right away. So that's why I said if he knew more about the schemes, we could have given better advice to him as well.
Let's move on to the other question. This is from Arun Yadav, and he wants to invest 40 lakhs and he's planning to generate income through SWP for 20 years from now. And for that, he needs a suitable portfolio mix or a fund mix. Okay, so I don't know if he really needs this money like immediately after investing, or maybe he wants to give some time for the money to stay invested and maybe grow. In both the scenarios, what would you recommend?
So I would ideally recommend a combination of aggressive and conservative schemes, because we don't really know what kind of time horizon he has, what kind of money he wants to withdraw. For example, if it's 2%, if it's 5%, what kind of money would he like to withdraw? If it's today withdrawal or if it's after 10 years. So lots of variables there. So it could actually work out to a much larger chart than just say, you can withdraw 5,000 X amount of years. You will also have to account for inflation over the years. So I would recommend take a one scheme, which is say like a Bandhan aggressive hybrid scheme, and one maybe like a Kotak conservative scheme, like a debt conservative scheme. So there you are kind of averaging out your portfolio. You're kind of making sure that while you're targeting income, you're also focusing on growth. Both are happening to your portfolio. It could mean that one particular scheme has more allocation and the other less, depending on when he wants to withdraw, when he wants to sort of start his withdrawal immediately or after a few years. He could withdraw from capital itself if he needs immediately, because that's what will happen in case he wants to start the SWP immediately. But if it is after a few years, it could mean that he's only withdrawing the interest income. Also, how flexible is, how much of this is part of your overall portfolio? Is this your only portfolio? Is there PPFs? Is there senior citizen schemes? What are giving you monthly incomes? Are those scalable? Will those beat inflation on a later day? So a lot of retirement planning questions there. So when you plan SWP, make sure you're taking into account the holistic picture.
All right, let's just take one more last question. This is from Surinder Arora, and he's investing in Aditya Birla Credit Risk Fund and wants to know whether to continue or to shift to a short-term, medium-term debt fund.
Okay, so my question to him would be, why did he choose this scheme in the beginning? When did he invest? What is the purpose now? Does he need the money now? Why does he want to exit now? What if he doesn't need the money? Is it available for maybe in the next 6 months, 2 years, 5 years? Can he take more risk? So I think he needs to answer a lot of these questions for me to give him better answers. But otherwise, he can exit the scheme. He can put it in a liquid fund or a short term debt fund and then decide. If he's not sure on what to do, he can exit and he can take a call later as well.
You need to have a higher risk appetite for credit risk fund.
He does need to have a higher risk appetite, which is why I said if he's absolutely not sure, then the best option for him is to exit and put it in a short term debt fund, because then at least there's no sort of risk there in terms of any volatility or negative returns.
Right. I think with that, we are timed up on the show also. Thank you so much, Shweta, for taking your time out and answering all the questions today. Thank you. And for our viewers, I'm going to leave you with our QR code that you can scan and keep sending us your questions. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.